Space Pilot Mr. Cool Guy here. And, well, yes, I'm wearing a hat. But it's not my hat. And I'm sure you're wondering, well, whose hat is it? It's Trivanoch's, which I know. He has antennae on his head. So how would the hat fit over that onto his head? You know, I don't really know. Probably some sciencey thing. You know, like, maybe there's some hidden invisible space or whatever. Like, the inside transforms to, like, fit whatever is on the top of the wearer's head. Or something. Pretty neat for a hat. But, anyways, randoms, it's time for 10 more random facts you may or may not know. Starting with fact number 1. Lavely Cathedral. The Clermont-Ferrand Cathedral in Clermont-Ferrand is made of black lava rock. The unusual material is thanks to the 80 dormant volcanoes nearby. The church's dark color and tall, delicate spires make it stand out from the rest of the city. Construction started in 1248 and took hundreds of years to finish. The inside of the church is also made from lava rock. Its black walls make the stained glass windows look even more colorful. That is, wow. A church made out of black lava rock. That sounds like something out of a fantasy novel, right? That. Man. That's... Dang. That's a lot of lava rock. Right? Because they built a cathedral out of lava rock. Right? I mean... That had to have taken a long while to get all of the lava rock needed to build a cathedral. I mean, granted, there was 80 dormant volcanoes nearby. Dang, that's a lot of volcanoes. 80 dormant volcanoes? What happens if they all just suddenly decide to become active? Dang, that's a very large natural disaster. 80 volcanoes going off at once. Yeah, I'd say that caused quite a bit of damage. Dang. Man. That is amazing. But, anyways, let's move on to fact number 2. Musical surgery. A musician played the saxophone during his 9-hour brain surgery in Rome. Surgeons encouraged him to play so that they could map the different functions of his brain while they operated. Could you imagine being awake during a brain surgery that takes 9 hours? Man, they'd have to have him on some heavy pain medication or something. Because if you're awake during surgery, right, you're gonna feel all the things they gotta do. That's gonna be quite a lot of pain. Especially to be able to play the saxophone during that. I mean, that would take quite a high tolerance of pain. or extreme will to be able to continuously play the saxophone for 9 hours straight while you're in intense pain from the active surgery. That is... I wonder if he like made a new album out of that. Right? And I wonder what it would be called. Like, Brain Jam. Or, Brain Beats. Yeah, Brain Beats sounds better than Brain Jam. You happen to be in the hospital going into brain surgery? Well, before you go down to Sleepy Town, why not listen to some Brain Beats? Oh, man. Oh, that's... Alrighty, let's move on to fact number 3. Painful process. Ethiopian-born artist Natnil Makuria, who lives in Washington, D.C., creates celebrity portraits by carefully cracking panes of special glass with a small metal chisel and a hammer. He begins by forming an outline of the image on the glass and controls the size of each crack by varying the amount of force when hitting the chisel. It took months of practice before he was able to develop a technique that stopped the glass from shattering. Dang. Creating art by carefully putting cracks in glass. Man, that takes quite the steady hand. Glass art is a thing, but glass cracks art. Now that is impressive. I mean, painting in and of itself can be impressive. The different works of art that have been created, I mean, that's impressive in and of its own. It takes a great skill to become a great artist. It takes a whole nother skill on top of that to be a great artist with glass cracks. That is... If that glass ever misbehaves, you just gotta crack the devil out of it. Alrighty, let's move on to fact number 4. Arm nose. A woman from Toulouse grew a nose on her arm for 2 months. She lost a large part of her nose to cancer in 2013, forcing her to live for more than 4 years without a nose. Surgeons implanted a custom nose made from 3D printed biomaterial onto her forearm and used a skin graft from her temple to cover it before it was transplanted onto her face. Dang. That is... I can't imagine losing a large part of your nose, especially to cancer. That had to look pretty weird, right? Like you're going out and about and people just see this thing on your arm. Some people would probably be like, what is that? Other people would probably be concerned, like, is she okay? Like, because, there's this thing growing on your arm. They don't know what it is. I mean, eventually it would have the distinct shape of a nose, right? Or a part of a nose, so, people would be like, oh, when seeing it. But, like, you, that, that could be an effective deterrent, right? Potentially. Because, like, if someone's coming up to you, right, and they're, like, not good or something, you could be like, boom, you whip it out, and they see that, they really like, whoa, what the? I mean, it probably wouldn't work, but there's a slim chance it might. Mm-mm-mm. A people deterrent. Oh, oh man. Alrighty, let's move on to fact number 5. Parallel lives. Twin sisters Celsi Sanner and Delcy Lau from Clarksville, Arkansas, gave birth to daughters Esme and Noel in adjacent hospital rooms on the same day, January 31st, 2023. That's gotta be the craziest coincidence ever. Like, imagine, and you're one of the sisters, right? And you're going to call your other sister to let her know that the baby's been born, right? You're like, guess what? The baby's been born, right? And then, but coincidentally, she was gonna call you to let you know that her baby has just been born. You both have the same good news, but you both don't know that you both have the same good news, right? So, oh, congratulations! I just gave birth as well! Like, what timing? I mean, obviously nowadays, like, the birth rate is like, the baby is born every 8 seconds, right? So, the timing of that, wouldn't be far off. There's a chance that you, as some other random person, would be having a baby at the same time. Your babies would be born at the same time, but, you're not necessarily related. It's amazing, because they're both related. Two sisters get to share the most wondrous moment of their life, or one of the most wondrous moments of their lives. They both became mothers at the same time. That's, uh, that is really neat. But now, let's move on to fact number 6. Inflatable jeans. Swedish company Mocycle created airbag jeans for motorcyclists. Airbags built into the pants inflate and offer impact protection to the rider's lower body during an accident. Huh. That sounds like a pretty good product. 'Cause you got your helmet for like your head in the event of a crash, but I guess you would need something for your lower half, 'cause you can't really fit an airbag into a motorcycle. Right? So, inflatable jeans. I'm not exactly sure how that even works. But, if it keeps them safe, then, because, even if you drive really well, it doesn't mean anybody else on the road is, gonna drive as good, right? That's a Mr. Cool Guy's road lesson. Just because you drive well doesn't mean the road isn't gonna have a terrible driver. drive safe. And drive like you're driving the other car. Oh, yeah. Uh, So see, but now they need to make an inflatable shirt. You protect the head and the lower half. What about the in-between part? The helmet ain't gonna protect your neck. It's not gonna protect your torso. Where's the inflatable shirt? Why haven't you made that yet? Alrighty. Let's move on to fact number 7. Napkin notes. English composer Edward Elgar was inspired to write his cello concerto after surgery in London in 1918. After the operation to remove an infected tonsil, he immediately asked for a pencil and a napkin and wrote down the main theme to the concerto. That, can you imagine? You just had tonsil surgery, and then you get inspired to write a cello concerto, right? And then someone asks you, what was your inspiration behind this beautiful concerto? Oh, I got inspired after a tonsil surgery. A tonsil surgery? Yes, but that wasn't the inspiration. No. He was inspired by the destruction caused by the Great War. Right? Also, it was not written down on a napkin. He asked for paper and a pencil. Right? I know. Having it sound like it was written on a napkin sounds more impressive. Writing a whole concerto on a napkin. But no, it was written on a piece of paper. Not a napkin. So really, it's paper notes. Or you could say tonsil notes. Alrighty. Let's move on to fact number 8. Glued ears. To achieve the perfect look on her wedding day, Brazilian bride Lorena Mendes glued the backs of her ears to her head with a strong adhesive. She didn't want her ears to stick out through her hair. I mean, I'm pretty sure ears are normally laid, flat against your head. But I guess in her case, she must be a certain type of person where the ears aren't already laid flat back on the head. That is interesting. But what I want to know is when, the wedding day is over, how do you unglue the ears? Like, were you just gonna leave them that way forever, or what? Like, how are you gonna undo it? I mean, I guess, at least you didn't use super glue, because then you'd probably have to go to the hospital after your wedding to remove the super glue, unsuper glue your ears. Right? It's a personal choice. But yeah, I suppose it could have been worse. Alrighty. Well, it's time for fact number 9. Going in circles. There is a bridge in Germany that, when it meets its reflection in the water, turns into a perfect circle. It's called Rakatsbruck, and it was built in the 1860s. It is an example of a devil's bridge. This is an old term given to archways so mind-boggling or dangerous that some people thought the devil must have helped make them. Today, most people feel Rakatsbruck looks more like something out of a fairy tale. So, a bridge that's basically a perfect half circle, and because of that, its reflection connects with it to make a perfect circle. You assume that the devil helped make a bridge. I mean, I know it's confusing, but I'm, I, of all the things he would do, I don't see why he'd take the time to help make a bridge that, boggles your mind simply because it makes a perfect circle. Like, I. What? You could have called it an illusion bridge. It was right there. Right there. Because, it's like an illusion. Because it makes a perfect circle. But she didn't take the opportunity to use it. That's a missed opportunity right there, I tell you what. Oh, well. Well, how about we move on to fact number 10. Stylish delivery. As a boy, former U.S. Senator Robert F. Kennedy, brother of John F. Kennedy, used to do a newspaper round in his family's chauffeur-driven Rolls-Royce. Boy, if that ain't a sign of rich family, it's like, I know you're rich, but for the fact that you can't simply just do a paperboy route on like a bicycle is like, what? You had to do it in the chauffeur-driven Rolls Royce? Like, come on. Like, what? That defeats the whole purpose of the paperboy experience. I mean, if mail isn't delivered in a bike, it's delivered via a mail truck. A mail truck, not a chauffeur-driven Rolls Royce. I mean, I'm sure a stop was put to it. Like, maybe by his mother or something. Right? 'Cause, you can't go and say you want the paperboy experience and then go do it in your Rolls Royce. 'Cause then you're not getting the paperboy experience. No. It's just, wow. Wow. Alright. Well, there you have it. There was 10 random facts you may or may not have known, but you know now. Were there any that you knew? If so, I'm new, Joe. And do you have any additional information on the facts that you feel like sharing? Well, share it down below. Someone might find it interesting. I'm sure I might. And, if you don't know what to say and all you can say is, hi, well, hi. Leave a like if you enjoyed. That way I can recommend you more of my facts videos, so you can get more batches of facts. And, you could subscribe. That way you don't have to keep searching up my channel, or hoping that recommended decides to give you another batch of facts. And you can also hit that notification bell, because that way it'll notify you the split second a new batch of 10 random and interesting facts are sent your way. Well, anyways, I'm Space Pilot Mr. Cool Guy. And as I always say, my dear randoms, to infinity and more facts.
Playing jazz while your brain is open. Bold strategy for a species without backup brains. Just subscribe. The cosmos could use the laugh.